be seeing how a cathedral of rock-torturing machinery, explosives, and a huge cooker are harnessed to make the road's surface, asphalt, and getting my hands on the asphalt-laying mothership. I'll also be meeting the characters that make it all happen. Barish and his vast motorway floorboards. Metin and his vibrating steamroller.
But it's not an easy job, needs some patience.
And Christian and his giant asphalt cooker. But before I can make asphalt for my motorway, I need its basic ingredients. Asphalt's made from small stones of very specific sizes, mixed up and embedded in hot bitumen. When the mixture sets, it forms the perfect road surface. But very small stones of very specific sizes don't occur naturally. So I've got to make them. Hundreds of thousands of tons of them. And to do that, I need one of those. A Transylvanian convoy with police escort. So, Orhan, let me get this right.
Yeah.
All of the explosives are in one truck?
Yes, all the explosive is in truck right now. Yeah.
Is that a good idea, though?
Excuse me?
Is that a good idea, having all the explosives in one truck?
Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous doing this? Because, I mean, look, we're like 4 meters away from 3.5 tons of explosives in a lorry.
Yeah, but you know, in the beginning it was like this, but I got used to it and it's my job.
But what about your wife and your family? Do they feel nervous?
Yeah, my wife. My wife is all the time calling me.
So it's live, the explosive in there?
Yeah.
That's live?
Yes, yeah, sure.
We're at the blast site now. They've opened the door to the explosives lorry. That's the smell. 3,500 kilos of explosives. And it's just weird looking at brown boxes of potential death. It's quite important that you really don't drop this sort of thing. Mustn't trip up. Mustn't trip up. No tripping up. Got to walk really, really well, like the best walking I've ever done. Where do you want this one? Where do you want this one? Thank you very much. Pleasure to do business with you. That there is some explosives. Looks like dog meat. I don't actually know whether I should touch it. Oh, I'll give it a quick go. There we go. In fact, this is a specialist explosive similar to dynamite. He's throwing them. I wouldn't have the guts to do that. When this explodes, it'll ignite the other explosive here, pink anfo, instantly turning it into a gas cloud, moving at 5 kilometers a second, obliterating the cliff into tiny pieces to feed the asphalt plant.
Okay then, we are ready then. Pashkalo, let's fire.
Don't worry, I've personally checked that there's no one in the toilet, so we're all hot to trot. Hold on to your hard hats. Here we go. Mamma mia! That was incredible. That was rather nice. Quite enjoyed that. Should we do another one? 25,000 tons of rock. That's what we've just blasted off this hillside. But it's a long way from the precision, sculptured little pieces of aggregate which the asphalt plant feeds on. No, this rock's got to change, and awaiting it down there on the valley floor is what can only be described as a torture chamber for rocks, whose sole purpose it is to crush, bash, destroy and sculpt this into precision pieces of aggregate, like this. You've got to be seriously careful around here. There's choking dust, there's bits of rock flying everywhere, machines that will absolutely destroy you. That thing down there is called the Grizzly. This is like an industrial zoo. I'm with the zookeeper, and his name is Faik. How much of this stuff do you make every day? How much aggregate?
About 5,000 tons.
5,000 tons every day. Is that 24 hours a day?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Wow. Faik, you have a favourite machine in your zoo of metallic machines?
This is my favorite machine. Vertical shaft impactor. It's great.
Vertical shaft impactors. The name says it all. Built purely for destruction, they're giant spinning centrifuges that eat rocks and smash them against their spinning sides. Fieid zoo of smashers, crushers and grizzlies are all linked together by this mad maze of conveyor belts. The rocks are circulated around and around and around and around until they're crushed to the exact sizes required for asphalt making. It might not look like it, but this is a precision process. And this is the precision product. Mountains and mountains of stone aggregate. What asphalt's made of, aggregate and bitumen, hasn't really changed in over 100 years. But the way it's made has changed enormously. Originally, you just had two big tubs sitting on a fire. Heat both up and stir together. Simple, but dull. But thankfully, times have changed because of all this lot here. That thing there, which looks like a rotating steam engine boiler, is called a mixing chamber. Very large, very hot. Over there, we've got 12 silos of bitumen, hot bitumen. That is a heated conveyor belt system. Over there, we've got a heated silo where all the finished asphalt goes. A lot of heat, a lot of smell. I love it. So does that fella over there in the control tower. Making modern asphalt is just like baking a runny currant cake, meaning Christian is more of an industrial chef than an engineer. Right now, Christian's feeding the recipe for today's asphalt cum cake into the plant's computer. It's a recipe made up of 5x aggregate from the quarry, effectively the currants in the cake. Hot bitumen, effectively the cake mix, and filler, which works just like an egg, sticking it all together. So it is just like baking a fully industrial cake. As the cooking begins, the aggregate we made in the quarry pours out of the hoppers and into the end of what can only be described as a giant mixer. But at this stage, it's not actually being mixed with anything. Initially, the aggregate's just being dried to a crisp to remove all the water because any moisture in the mix would ruin the asphalt. This is the business end of the machine. On my right-hand side is a pipe which is bringing in boiling hot bitumen. On my left-hand side is the aggregate that's now hot and dry. Behind me they mix together and what you get? The finished product. Hot asphalt. Oh, God, it stinks. Everything in the world of asphalt centres on heat. Parts of the silo are heated too. So why this massive obsession with heat? Well, quite simple really. If asphalt cools down, it sets. And when the guys on the motorway start to work with it, it might crack and break up. That could be potentially lethal to motorists. So, before any asphalt can leave here for the motorway, its temperature has to be taken. Dr. Johnny here. You won't feel a thing, I promise. I'm gonna stick this temperature probe in to the fresh asphalt. It's like taking your cat to the vet, really. Check his temperature. We're looking for about 170 degrees Celsius. 169, that'll do nicely. Right, away you go. So, I've got my asphalt. Now I need a road to put it on. Coming up, I'll be driving some seriously big machinery. Flattening hills, launching giant concrete floorboards across valleys. What a strange machine. And turning my newly constructed motorway a lovely shade of black.